Kia ora, good morning everyone, BGH1 here, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a look at the camera cage from Nitze, which is for Panasonic BGH1 and BS1H. But before we start, just a quick disclaimer. Just like a lot of my other reviews, the sample that I'm using in this review was provided by the manufacturer and I don't need to return to them. But this review is not sponsored by Nitze and it is a completely independent review just like all my other reviews. This is the Nitze BGH1 BS1H cage. It is made of aluminum alloy. Nitze, they chose a pretty simple design for this cage, so the size of this cage is a bit smaller and not as bulky as most other BGH1 cage in the market. It does come with a few extra accessories though, so that you can use them to expand the cage a bit, and I'll talk about those accessories a little bit later on. It is a really solid cage, and the paint and finish on the cage is top quality. The weight of this cage is 263 grams, so it is a pretty lightweight cage as well. You attach the cage onto the camera using a total of 4 screws, so 2 at the top here and then 2 at the bottom. And you attach the cage directly onto the mounting screw holes on the camera body. And because of that, the cage fits very solidly and very securely onto the body. You can't move or rotate the cage even by a tiny bit once you have tightened up all the screws onto the camera. The cage also comes with a little tool that is magnetically attached to the bottom of the cage, so you can use it to tighten up all those screws. So it is very handy. One thing I do want to see improved is maybe in the future this tool can also has a hex key on one side, so you can use this tool to also tighten up some of the accessories when you attach it onto the cage. With the cage attached to the camera, you still have access to all the ports and all the buttons and controls on the camera, so no problem at all. It also provides a bit of physical protection to the front side of the camera, but not so much to the rear side of the camera. The only minor issue I notice is the front tail lamp here. After you attach the cage, you can no longer see the front tail lamp from the side of the camera or from the top of the camera because of the position of the cage. This cage was originally designed for the Panasonic BGH1, but since the BS1H has the same shape and almost identical design as the BGH1, so the cage also works perfectly fine on the BS1H as well. Because it is a pretty simple and pretty small cage, so once you attach it onto the camera, it doesn't feel really bulky at all. But of course, now you do have a lot more mounting holes for you to attach extra accessories. There are a number of 1/4 inch and also 3/8 inch mounting holes at the top and also on the side of the cage, including some area locating pin attachment points. For example, I can attach this Nitze stinger handle onto the top of the cage using the area locating pin. I have a review of this stinger handle as well, which I think is the best handle in the market right now. So remember to check out the review of this stinger handle after watching this one if you are interested in getting a handle for your camera rig. The left and right side of the cage is also a built-in NATO rail, so you can attach accessories or a grip that use NATO clamp. Since this cage fits very tightly to the camera, so there is a chance that you may have some clearance problem with some certain NATO clamp accessory. Having said that, I don't really have the problem myself when I try a few different accessories that using NATO clamp, but I thought it's just something that I want to bring up. If you look at the bottom of the cage, there are multiple mounting points as well. Nitze also created a special PB13 base plate that you can attach to the base of this cage, and then you can add 15mm rod to your system or attach other accessories very easily. So if you are planning to use follow focus or add a matte box to your camera, you definitely should check out this base plate as well. The only thing that I want to see but is missing on the cage is a cold shoe mount. Now of course you can buy a cold shoe adapter and attach it onto the cage. but I would like to see a cold shoe mount on the cage, or maybe with a cold shoe adapter included so user don't have to buy that separately. But to be fair, I have checked the BGH1 cage from a few other brands and it seems none of them has a cold shoe mount as well. The cage comes with a few extra accessories. First, there is a HDMI cable clamp that you can attach to the back of the cage for you to secure your HDMI cable better. Then there is a rosette mount that you can attach to the cage in pretty much any position and also in different orientation. I feel this is better than some other similar product where the rosette mount is part of the cage and it is fixed, because that really limits how you can attach your accessory, and also some people may not even need it. There is a small bracket that you can attach onto the front of the cage to provide better support to the camera lens, especially if you are using a BGH1 with a metabone adapter, as this bracket can be screwed onto the metabone adapter directly. Personally, I don't feel this bracket is really needed unless you are attaching some very heavy lens onto an adapter, as the cage itself locks very securely onto the camera already. And if you use this bracket on a BS1H, the bracket would partially block one of the custom function button. You can still press that button, but it is slightly harder. So yeah, I would just ignore this bracket completely if you are shooting with a BS1H. So overall, I think it is a pretty nice cage and I didn't find any major issues. The fact that it comes with a few extra accessories does make the cage a little bit more versatile and also good value for money. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions about this Nitze cage, just drop a comment below and I will try to answer your question.